Well everyone, we're off to start the next part of this project. We're going to get some sand. And what else are we going to get while we're away?
Billy's jacket.
I'm going to get a jacket for the dog because it is getting pretty cold here. So let's get into it.
I told you, Riley. There you are. You're on, thanks.
We're at the weekend again, got a little bit of free time. So unfortunately I was filming and it all went blacked out when we went up to A&L earlier. But we went up to Australian Natural Landscape, got some sand and cement. So we're going to start on the project of laying the pavers, getting it screeded, making it smooth. And then the next thing after that we're going to tackle is getting a concrete saw or a brick saw to start to carve out the triangles. Now, I've been watching a lot of YouTube on how to do this, and probably the fastest way to do it is with a concrete saw. And essentially what you do is you build the path out to beyond the part you're going to put these edges down, and then you just saw right along it, and then the triangles sort themselves out. Now that's a very fast and efficient way. The only issue I have is that I probably don't have enough pavers to sacrifice that many in just zipping up the side of them. So I'm going to have to do it probably the longer and slower way, but probably the more efficient way, in not the sense of time, but in the sense of materials. So I know everyone's going to be commenting in the bottom there, you should have done it this way, you should have done it that way, but it's just what we're going to have to compromise with. So we've backed the ute up, we've got the sand in there, let's get into it. So I think where I'm going to start today is probably closest to the door here, just so we don't we stop any tripping sort of things happening. So the plan's going to be, in this area here, we first of all lay the edge. Now I'm going to do that without cementing it in first, only because, once again, not ideal, but how it is, the pavers that we're going to be laying, the majority of it, are actually a little bit taller than these ones. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll put a bit of sand here, but it's still a good 10 mil higher than the edging pavers I'm going to be using. So what I thought I'd do is I'd lay these ones, get the height of what we're going to need to do, and then I can pack that up with whatever material we're going to use, probably a bit of gravel and cement. So let's start that process. We're going to put the edges down just to get the measurements, and then we're going to screed in essentially the sand we're going to be using, start laying them and see what it looks like. So as we tend to do on this journey of mine, we tend to learn on the run. Thankfully, the old adage of measure twice, cut once, I've taken on board, and I've just done a double check measurement on if the area I'm using is actually square and straight. And thankfully I did, because I'm using the house as the square, and look how off it is at this end compared to this end. Not only that, so first of all, this area where it's been cemented isn't square. This pad itself isn't square either, so it was really quite deceptive. When I'd laid it all out, there was a bit of a kink down there. So then I just started looking a bit closer, and there was a good 20 centimeters difference by the time I got to the end. So I've just had to put this string line in and measure off the house, just make sure it's perfectly square. And I've gone to the other end, just made sure it's a right angle, and thankfully it is. So I think we're going to be all right. So we're going to start the process of screeding, putting down the sand at the right depth, and then putting some pavers on. And we're just going to, I guess, give it a bit of a test run, see how it's working. I think what we'll do first is we'll just do a couple of lines up here, and then I'm going to cement in this edge just so we really make sure we've got a good edge sorted out. It's going to stay there, and then we can start to stretch it right out. There's going to be a little bit of cutting, I think, when we get to around this drain and the pipes, but that's okay. I've got the angle grinder, I can do those small cuts, no worries. And I've got some extra piping ready to put in there too, so we can keep the drain. All right, let's give it a go. Bill!
Bill!
Oh, you punk. For the patio we're making here.
I will see you all that sand
Yeah.
and see you. Then I see you at the top. You're big enough. And see in the sky, see the cloud, and see every house we want.
As you can see by the dimming light, moon's out, sun's going down. We've had a pretty good crack at this afternoon, and this is where we're up to. The only problem is I've run out of pavers. So it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where it's up to. But there's a stack more pavers out at Yeovil we're going to go and pick up and bring. But it's probably going to take us a couple of trips, because this amount was essentially a full ute load. So I reckon we've got probably another 2 or 3 trips to make there and back. But I do have a few of these more narrow pavers. I'm just going to finish off just the Savo with using those more narrow ones down this end. I'm going to just continue this up in through here just as much as I've got left, and try and empty the ute, which is full of sand, and put that away for the night, and then we'll see what's happening tomorrow. Welcome back. It's day 2 of the weekend of getting this path started. Now, as I said last time, we've run out of pavers, but I thought let's cement this edge in so we really have this locked down and secure, and that way, you know, it might take us a couple of weeks to get back to this to get the rest of it done, but we've got that locked in. The pavers aren't going to go anywhere, and we'll be right to kick off when we get another chance. So the first step I got to do, I'm just going to be getting this corner ready. And what I'm going to do here is essentially cut a 45 on this one and a 45 on this one, so they'll essentially sit evenly like this, and we'll make sure they're in the right spot, and then we'll get a half and put it in this corner. So I'm going to show you how we do that. It's a yeah, it's not too hard. I'll use the angle grinder for this one. We'll get it done. Alright, so we've just done the cuts. Let's see if they fit. Here we go. Moment of truth. Yeah. Let's see, because I'm interested to see if this is going to fit or not. Oh, it looks good. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright. So I think we might start some cementing, and I think I'll just even use... I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. We could do like a nice corner box like that all the way in. You know, look pretty cool. Alright. Time to start on the cement. Alright, the day is done. Bill, get off, get off. Just got to keep the dog off the wet cement now. Go inside, inside, hey, go inside. Bill, come here, come. Okay, we're going to have to keep the dog and the chook out now. But yeah, the cementing's done. I'll just pretty much put an edge right around it just to really make sure it stays put. And pretty happy with it. Last little sneaky bit I did was just this bit here, just to give us an idea of what it's going to look like once all those bits and pieces get finished up. So, to the trampoline, these two gooses need a bit of running around, and we'll see you tomorrow.